What has the pet industry meant for you?
Oh, it's changed my life. It's really one dog who changed my life. Years and years ago, this dog came into my life through, I guess we'd call it rescue today. I'm not sure exactly what this person was doing with these dogs, but it was Brittany, and she was afraid of everything. And this was before there were behaviorists around to be able to help. Certainly not before veterinary behaviors. We didn't know about drugs at that point that could help these dogs. And this dog had so many fears. If it was out there, this dog was afraid of fire hydrants even. And we took this dog from the country to the big city. The dog clearly had no big city experience, so all the more reason. The Chicago police stopped me and said, "What's your dog's name?" And I said the dog's name is Chaser. And so, where did you get the dog? I mean, the police officer really thought, I believe, that I had stolen this dog. And I mean, that's how terrified she looked. She looked like a poster girl for animal abuse.
Wow.
And we were able to work through it. And, you know, whenever I closed my bathroom door to do what you do on the other side of the bathroom door,
sure,
she did the same thing on the other side of the bathroom door. I mean, she had separation anxiety, and it was bad, you know, and but still there was something about this dog, and I didn't even consider, didn't even think about giving this dog back. It never really crossed my mind, and I thought if I could work with this, well, this dog had a special bond with me throughout my life. And, you know, people, strangers would say this dog didn't just look at me, this dog looked into my soul. And it's the reason why I'm doing what I do now.
There's a recent study that came out that said that nearly 20% of dogs and over 30% of cats, compared to 5 years ago, are not seeing the pet's veterinarian at least annually. And that's where we do detect some of these hidden problems. That's where we find things like obesity, diabetes, and even cancer. And if we detect these things early, we have a great chance at treatment and successful outcome.
Because when the economy tanked a few years ago, people did relinquish their dogs, but a lot of people, adoptions also went up. People started to spend the money they didn't have because they were at home and they were bonding with their pets, and suddenly it was, hey, my dog loves me without a job. My dog loves me whether I look good in the morning. My dog loves me no matter what kind of mood I'm in, which is why I call myself my dose of reality. And I'm like you, Robert, I'm a pet parent. And I look at my dog as he is. He's a furry child. He's got feelings, he's got emotions, he supports me, he's there for me, and he works for treats. So that's even better.
But my dog is the reason I own my own company today. It's the reason I'm not a corporate drone anymore. You know, because I used to work for a large corporation. I was a network engineer for like 10 years. And I was basically working with computers. Then I got a dog, and I took him to the dog park, and I discovered people. You know, I discovered people, and I got really interested in like social media stuff and blogging and all these things.
Well, we actually just announced $250,000 in new grants to 5 different projects. We're looking at the effects of pets on kids with autism. We're looking at the effects of dog walking on heart health. We're looking at soldiers with PTSD and how dogs can help them. And it's not all about dogs. We actually are funding a study on equine therapy for trauma survivors. So those are just some of the new projects that we're funding. And there's lots of science out there behind this. You know, it used to be that you would hear stories about how pets really help somebody improve. But now we're actually gathering that research. We've actually gathered a database with more than 20,000 entries. It's called HABRIcentral.org, and there you can find all the scientific papers that prove what everybody knows, that pets are good for us.
I've been rescuing animals for approximately 30 years, and in the eastern part of the United States, I've worked with a lot of shelters. And 3-4 years ago, they started telling me that they have an unusual situation. They have military people going off to Afghanistan, Iraq. They're leaving their animals at the shelter. They're brokenhearted. Most of the shelter animals, or a large proportion in this country, are there because nobody wants them. These military people really wanted their animals. They had nobody that would take care of them. Through their average deployment was about a year. So I decided to create a company that would foster the animals. We started it in the end of 2011. We really had no idea what we were doing. There was no mentor. There was no book to read. We did about 3 animals right in November, December 2011, and then we started really cooking. I hired a full-time employee. We got some volunteers. Last year, we did over 50 animals. We're over 100 animals in 2 years. We hope to do close to 100 this year.
One thing I think that's special about our nonprofit and this foundation is our history and all the wildlife studies that we funded, and how we worked with the great Diane Fossey. And now that we're funding the Golden Retriever Lifetime Study, currently the biggest animal study ever funded. So this is historic.
Then I ended up in sort of a really heavy rescue situation when I was a really young woman and started the Humane Society on the island of Guam. And being faced with 40,000 stray dogs on this island, it changed me, and it thrust me into an environment that I didn't know I had the courage to venture into, because it is heartbreaking to venture into the world of rescue when you're dealing with animals that are so loved by their caretakers, but then the euthanasia rate and the homelessness, it can really wreck you. But it also it can change you and empower you to make such a difference and such a contribution